Education is the foundation of a civilization, and India's education report card is out. But the results are eye-opening. Hello and welcome to Drishti IS. My name is Saloni Nantulier, and in this video, we will analyze PGI Report 2.0. So the Union Ministry of Education released a report, PGI 2.0, which is Performance Graded Index, and that assesses the school education system for all our states and union territories on 70 plus indicators. And what were the results? So Chandigarh was the top performer with a score of 719 out of 1000. And Meghalaya was the worst performer with a score of only 417 out of 1000. So this was the report for the academic year 2023-24. It assessed the school education system for all our states and UTs, and we found out that Chandigarh was first, whereas Meghalaya stood last. Now let us look at the indicators used in PGI. So all those 70 plus indicators, they are collated under 7 categories. What are those 7 categories? So the first is learning outcomes and quality. So this category talks about the foundational literacy and the foundational numeracy of children going to school. Are they able to read and write basic text? Can they understand? Can they comprehend basic text? Can they perform simple mathematical calculations by the time they reach grade 3? All these things, and even the academic report cards, how well the students are doing in the different subjects, all these things are taken care of under the LOQ category. Next, we have access. So access talks about the access that these students have to schools. For example, what is their enrollment rate? What is their dropout rates? Did they make it to high school? Did they make it to senior secondary? So all these things, what is the access that they have to the school education system is taken care of under the access category. Then we have infrastructure and facilities. Infrastructure and facilities talks about all the physical infrastructure of the school, like how well equipped is the building, is it properly maintained, what are the sanitation facilities, do we have toilets, is there enough drinking water, is there clean drinking water, do the children have benches to sit on. All these things, the physical infrastructure, what is the electricity status of school? So all the physical infrastructure and facility part is taken care of in this category. Then we have equity. Equity talks about all types of equity. So we talk about gender equity, economic equity, caste equity, and also physical equity. So do girl children, they have equal access to schools? Or children of SC minorities, vulnerable groups, do they have access to school? Or physically disabled children or children with special needs, do they have access to school? So all forms of equity is dealt with in this category. Then we have governance processes. So governance process talks about the management and monitoring of the school systems. For example, is there regular inspection happening in schools? Is their audit system functioning properly? So the funds that were allocated to these schools, are they being used in the right direction? All these things are taken care of in the governance process category. And then we have teacher education and training. This is very important for a strong education system. We need to understand, do we have skilled teachers? Do we have qualified teachers? Are they upskilling themselves with the upcoming technology, with the upcoming curriculum? So all these things have to be managed under teacher education and training category. And then we have the digital learning and ICT category. So this talks about providing access to online training, to customized training, interactive training to both students and teachers. For example, you must have heard of a portal, the Diksha portal. Diksha portal is digital infrastructure for knowledge sharing. So this talks about providing online training, online education to our students as well as teachers for their upskilling. And this is especially helpful in areas, in remote areas or areas where do not have good infrastructure facility. There is hilly terrain, there are geographical constraints where you cannot physically construct a school everywhere. This time, digital learning and ICT plays a critical role because you can have online learning as your mode of education. Now let us look at the categories or the grades that were provided in this report and where our states fall into it. So the first one was Utkarsh. There are 7 grades in total. They are ranked from best to worst. The first one was Utkarsh with a score range of 761 to 1000. And surprisingly, no Indian state or UT has fallen under this category. And this is a very shocking revelation. It's a very sensitive issue. It tells us that our education system is lacking behind a lot of things. And the indicators that we saw in the previous scheme, they are all basic indicators. And because we have not been able to achieve, like any state has not been able to achieve the Utkarsh grade, it means that all our states and UTs are lacking even in the basic infrastructure, in the basic indicator facility. So this is something that India needs to work upon. Then we have Pracheshtha 2 with a score range of 701 to 760. This is where Chandigarh falls with a score of 719. Then we have Pracheshtha 2, 641 to 700. And here again, no state or UT has been able to score this range. This again is not a great thing for India. Pracheshtha 3 is 581 to 640. Here we have many states and UTs like Punjab, Delhi, Gujarat, Odisha, Kerala, Maharashtra and others. And then the bottom three are Akanshi 1, Akanshi 2 and Akanshi 3. Akanshi 3 is where Meghalaya falls with a score of 417. And Akanshi 1 and Akanshi 2 have states like UP, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Bihar, Telangana, Jharkhand and others. So these are the categories that are provided in the PGI report, and this is where our states fall. Let us look at the best performer. So the best performer was Chandigarh. This means that Chandigarh fared well in all the indicators that we discussed earlier. So it reflects that there is strength in its student learning outcomes, in the governance processes, in school infrastructure and teacher training and education. And interestingly, this is also a state that has implemented NEP 2020 in both schools and colleges. So this is a positive correlation that Chandigarh has implemented NEP and Chandigarh has stood first in the PGI, because NEP and PGI indicators, they are complementary to each other. NEP also talks about foundational literacy, foundational numeracy, providing education in mother tongue to the children. So all these things are also provided in NEP, and NEP and PGI indicators are complementary to each other. Then the worst state here was Meghalaya. This falls under Akanshi 3 category, which means that it did not fare well in all the indicators that we saw earlier. And an interesting thing to note here is that Meghalaya is a 6th scheduled state. This is a 6th scheduled state, which means it has a very high tribal population. It has approximately 86% of the people, 86% of tribal population. And tribals have very unique needs. They have special needs, sensitive needs. They have culturally specific needs, educationally specific needs. So we cannot really think of implementing one system or a universal system across states or UTs, because everybody is going to have different needs. So this is what was seen or reflected in the PGI report for Meghalaya, that it has inadequate infrastructure, low learning outcomes, gaps in teacher training, and poor access and equity, especially in remote tribal areas. Also, because it is a 6th scheduled state, it has autonomous district council. And there is an overlap between autonomous district council and state governments. So this creates hindrance in its governance process, which again is an indicator for PGI report. So all these things tell us that we need to be very mindful. We need to be very sensitive in our approach when we are working with tribal population. So we need to have culturally sensitive teachers. We need to have proper access to internet. We need to have proper infrastructure in place and a robust governance process in place, so that our tribal areas are also able to perform effectively. Now let us look at the most improved states. So Chandigarh was the best state. But in terms of other indicators, there are some states that have shown an improvement from the past year's report. For example, in access-related indicators like enrollment, retention, and transition, Bihar and Telangana, they showed a significant improvement. Both these states were under Akanshi category, but they have shown a significant improvement from the past year's report. Then in infrastructure like toilets, electricity, clean spaces, ICT, Delhi, Jammu, Kashmir, and Telangana progressed the most. Again, Telangana. So these states and UTs have also shown a lot of progress in infrastructure. So this means that we are going in the right direction. We're getting there, but there's still a lot that needs to be done in terms of infrastructure, in terms of access, in terms of equity, and only then we'll be able to build a robust education system. So what is the scope for improvement? There are some key areas that require urgent attention, like the learning outcomes, especially foundational literacy and numeracy. This is where India is lacking the most, that is as per the report. And this is where we need to work the most. We need to work on our teacher training and recruitment quality, equity in access, particularly in tribal and backward regions, just what we saw in Meghalaya's case, ICT and digital access in schools, and timely delivery of books, uniforms, and midday meals. And how are we going to do all this? By implementing NEP 2020 effectively. So education is a subject of this concurrent list where states and center, they have to work in collaboration with each other for proper implementation of all the policies. We saw a positive correlation in terms Chandigarh has implemented NEP and it was the best performer in the PGI report. So there is a positive correlation. It might be a case that if the NEP is implemented across uniformly with keeping some tribal specific needs in mind, we will be able to get a better result in the PGI report next year when this is conducted. We need to increase our public spending on school education, which is currently only 2.9% of the GDP, whereas the target is 6%. So the current allocation is less than half. We need to increase that. Localized monitoring and school level governance reforms, capacity building for teachers and school maintenance. We need to make sure that our teachers are skilled, they're qualified, and they're upskilling themselves with the latest trends, with the latest curriculum in place. Community and parental engagement. We also need to make sure that there is enough parental engagement, and this can be taken care of by providing some behavioral nudges or some behavioral insights to the trainings to the parents, so that they can also ensure that their children enroll to schools, they attend the classes, they perform well in their grades. So parental engagement is also very, very important. So that was all for today's video. Thank you for watching. Let us see if you can answer this practice question for prelims and mains. So with reference to Performance Grading Index PGI 2.0 for school education in India, consider the following statements. 1. PGI 2.0 assesses states, UTs across 7 domains, including learning outcomes, infrastructure, and equity. 2. Chandigarh is the only state or UT to have reached the highest grade, Utkarsh 761 to 1000 in the 2023-24 report. 3. PGI 2.0 is designated to monitor the implementation of National Education Policy 2020. And 4th, no state or UT has scored above 760 in the 2023-24 PGI 2.0 report. The options are A, 1 and 2 only, B, 2 and 3 only, C, 1 and 4 only, and D, 4 only. Please provide your answers in the comment section and also attempt this question for mains because it is important for your GS paper too. The Performance Grading Index 2.0 highlights both the progress and persisting gaps in India's school education system. Discuss the role of NEP 2020 in addressing these gaps. Also examine the challenges in ensuring uniform implementation of NEP across states and union territories. Try answering this question in 250 words for your own practice. And until we meet the next time, please keep studying and keep revising.